Hello everyone, welcome back to Actify English. I am Tony, your host and friend for today's conversation. I am so glad you are here with us. We have a wonderful episode today, and I think you are going to love it. Joining me, as always, is my great friend Helen. Hi Helen, how are you doing today?
Hi, Tony, and hello to all of our amazing listeners out there. Welcome to the podcast. Cheerful. I am doing really well today, Tony. Thank you for asking. The weather outside is beautiful, the sun is shining, and I have a warm cup of coffee right here next to me. I love mornings like this. How about you? How is your day going so far?
Oh, you know me, Helen. I cannot start my day without my favorite green tea. So I am sitting here with my big mug of tea, and I feel great. I am really excited about our topic today because it is something that almost everybody loves. But before we dive deep into it, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who watched our last video and left such kind comments. You guys are awesome. If you are new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you will never miss a fun English lesson with us. Right, Helen?
Yes, absolutely. Your support means the world to us, and we love reading your comments and learning more about you. So, Tony, what are we talking about today? You said it's something everybody loves, so now I'm very curious. Give us a hint.
Well, think about something you do when you want to relax on a Friday night. You have your popcorn, you turn off the lights, and you look at a big screen. Yes, exactly. Today we are talking about movies. Our episode is titled, Let's Talk About Movies, Favorite Films in English, Fun Beginner Podcast. It's a perfect topic for practicing English because talking about films is a great way to make friends and start conversations in real life.
Oh, I love movies. That is such a fantastic topic, Tony. You know, when I was first learning languages, watching movies helped me so much. It's not just about entertainment. It's also about hearing how real people speak, learning new words, and understanding different cultures. But honestly, even just talking about our favorite films in simple English is incredibly helpful for our listeners who are at the A2 or B1 level. It gives them useful vocabulary that they can use immediately.
Exactly. That's the goal. We want to keep everything simple, clear, and very slow so everyone can follow along easily. So let's start with a basic question, Helen. How often do you watch movies these days? Are you someone who goes to the movie theater a lot, or do you prefer staying at home on the couch?
That's a good question. I think it depends. A few years ago, I used to go to the cinema or the movie theater almost every weekend. I loved the big screen, the loud sound, and the smell of fresh popcorn. But lately, to be honest, I've become a bit of a homebody. I really love streaming movies on my television or my laptop. It's so comfortable. I can wear my pajamas, I can pause the movie whenever I want to go get a snack, and I don't have to worry about people talking next to me. What about you, Tony? Do you still go to the theater?
I completely understand what you mean about the pajamas and the snacks. That's definitely a huge plus for watching movies at home. But for me, I still really love the movie theater experience. There's something magical about it. When the lights go down and the screen lights up, you forget about everything else for 2 hours. I try to go to the theater at least once a month, especially for big action movies or sci-fi films. You know, the kind of movies that have amazing visual effects and incredible sound design. It just feels different on a massive screen.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. For big action movies, the cinema is definitely the best place. If you watch a movie like Star Wars or Marvel on a tiny phone screen, it just loses its magic, doesn't it? By the way, listeners, what about you? Do you prefer watching movies at the theater or at home? Let us know in the comments below. Write theater or home so we can see what our community prefers. It's always fun to see how different we all are.
Yes, please type it in. I am really curious to see the results. So Helen, let's talk about genres. A genre is just a fancy word for the type of movie, like comedy, romance, horror, or drama. What is your absolute favorite movie genre, and why do you like it so much?
Oh, let me think. I enjoy a lot of different types of films, but if I have to choose one favorite, it would probably be drama. especially historical drama or movies based on true stories. I love films that make me think and feel deep emotions. When a movie is based on a real person's life, it feels so inspiring. I love seeing how people overcome big challenges. Oh, and I also love a good romantic comedy, or a rom-com for short. Sometimes life is stressful and you just need a light, funny movie with a happy ending to make you smile. What about you, Tony? I bet you love action movies, right?
You know me too well, Helen. Yes, I do love a good action movie. It gets my heart beating fast and it's just pure fun. But actually, my absolute favorite genre is science fiction, or sci-fi. I love movies about space travel, time travel, the future, and technology. It makes me wonder about what the world will look like in 100 or 200 years. It really opens up your imagination. But you know what genre I absolutely cannot stand? Horror. I am a big chicken when it comes to scary movies, Helen. I hate being startled, and I can't sleep after watching ghosts or monsters on screen.
Really, Tony? That's so funny. You look like a brave guy, but a scary movie makes you run away? That's hilarious. Actually, I'm kind of the same way. I don't mind a psychological thriller, a movie that's mysterious and makes you think, but I don't like movies that are just full of blood and jump scares. A jump scare is when something suddenly pops out on the screen with a loud noise to frighten you. My heart cannot handle that.
Oh, exactly. Jump scares are the worst. I remember one time, a few years ago, my friends invited me to watch a horror movie at the theater. I didn't want to look scared, so I said yes. Helen, I spent half of the movie with my hands over my eyes. I was just peeking through my fingers. My friends laughed at me for weeks. It was so embarrassing.
Oh no, I can just picture you sitting in the theater, hiding behind your hands. That's too funny. But hey, that's a great memory. And that brings us to an interesting point. Movies are often connected to memories and the people we love. We remember who we were with and how we felt when we watched them.
That is so true. Movies have a way of staying with us for a very long time. Let's talk about our favorite films of all time. I know this is a difficult question because there are so many good ones, but if you had to pick just one movie that you could watch over and over again for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow, Tony, that's a really tough question. Choosing just one movie is like choosing a favorite book or a favorite food. There are so many choices. But let me think for a moment. Okay, I think my choice would be a classic movie called Forrest Gump. Have you seen it, Tony?
Oh, yes, of course. That's an absolute masterpiece. Tom Hanks is incredible in that film.
Yes, he is amazing. For our listeners who haven't seen it, Forrest Gump is a comedy drama film about a man named Forrest who has a lower IQ, but he has a beautiful heart and leads an extraordinary life. He witnesses and accidentally influences some of the biggest historical events in America. The reason I love this movie so much is that it teaches us so many beautiful lessons about life, love, and kindness. Forrest doesn't care about money or fame. He just cares about his friends and his family. He's so honest and pure. And there's that very famous line from the movie. Do you remember it, Tony?
Oh, let me think. Is it the one about the box of chocolates?
Yes, exactly. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. It means that life is full of surprises, some good and some bad, and you just have to accept them and keep moving forward. Every time I watch that movie, I cry, I laugh, and I feel so much hope. It's just a perfect film.
Wow, that is a beautiful choice, Helen, and you described it so well. Life is like a box of chocolates. That is a great phrase for our learners to practice. It uses simple words, but has a very deep meaning.
Thank you. Now it is your turn, Tony. I am dying to know. What is your number one ultimate favorite movie that you can watch 1,000,000 times?
Well, since I love sci-fi and mystery, my favorite movie of all time is Inception. It came out in 2010 and it was directed by Christopher Nolan. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, who is one of my favorite actors. The story is about a group of people who can enter into other people's dreams to steal their secrets. It is incredibly clever, complex, and exciting.
Oh, I have seen Inception. It is an amazing movie. But wow, Tony, it is very confusing the first time you watch it. I remember having to look up the explanation on the internet after the movie ended because I wasn't sure what actually happened at the end.
You are definitely not alone there, Helen. Almost everyone I know was confused by the ending. But that is exactly why I love it. It makes you think. You have to pay close attention to every single detail. It's like a big puzzle, and the visual effects are spectacular. There's a scene where a whole city folds on top of itself in a dream. It looks so real and mind-bending. I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times, and every single time I notice something new. It never gets boring.
That is the mark of a truly great movie, when you can watch it multiple times and still find something new. You know, Tony, talking about these specific movies makes me realize how helpful it is for English learners to summarize a movie plot. A plot is the story of a movie or a book. If our listeners can practice telling a friend the plot of their favorite movie in English, it will really improve their speaking skills.
That is an excellent point, Helen. Let's encourage our listeners to try it right now. Think about your favorite movie. How would you describe it in 3 simple sentences? You don't need to use big or difficult words. Just say who the main character is, what their problem is, and how they try to solve it. If you want to practice, pause this video right now, think about it, or even type your 3-sentence summary in the comments. We promise to read them and give you some feedback.
Yes, please do. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are just proof that you're trying and learning. So, Tony, speaking of actors, you mentioned Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. They are both Hollywood legends. Do you have any other favorite actors or actresses whose movies you always watch no matter what the movie is about?
Oh, definitely. I really like Will Smith. I think he's incredibly versatile. Versatile means he can do many different things well. He can be in a funny comedy like Men in Black, a serious drama like The Pursuit of Happiness, or a huge action movie like I Am Legend. Every time he's on screen, he has so much charisma and energy. You just want to watch him. What about you, Helen? Who is your favorite actress?
Oh, I absolutely adore Meryl Streep. She's often called one of the best actresses of her generation, and I completely agree. She can change her voice, her accent, and her body language for every single role. When she plays a character, you completely forget that she is Meryl Streep. You just see the character. For example, she was so funny and scary at the same time in The Devil Wears Prada, and then she was so warm and musical in Mamma Mia. She's just brilliant.
Oh, she is incredible. The Devil Wears Prada is a great movie. It has a lot of excellent vocabulary related to fashion, business, and work life. That's another thing. Different movies teach you different kinds of English words. If you watch a medical drama, you learn words about doctors and hospitals. If you watch a legal thriller, you learn words about lawyers and courts. It's a great way to expand your vocabulary in specific areas.
That is so true, Tony. But you know, some people find it very difficult to understand movies in English without subtitles. They say that native speakers talk too fast or they use too many idioms and slang words. What advice do you have for someone who wants to start watching English movies but feels overwhelmed?
That is a very common problem, and it is completely normal to feel that way. My first piece of advice is do not feel ashamed of using subtitles. Subtitles are a wonderful tool. When you are a beginner at the A2 level, you should start by watching English movies with subtitles in your native language. This helps you understand the story so you don't get frustrated. Then, as you move to the B1 level, you can switch the subtitles to English. This is a game changer because you can hear the pronunciation of a word and see how it is spelled at the same time. It helps your brain connect the sound to the written word.
I love that advice, Tony. Switching to English subtitles is a huge step, but it helps so much. Another tip I always give my students is to start with animated movies or cartoons like Disney or Pixar films. Think about movies like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, or The Lion King. These movies are designed for families and children, so the language they use is usually simpler and the actors speak very clearly. Plus, the expressions on the characters' faces are very clear, which helps you understand the emotions and the context, even if you don't know every single word.
Oh, that is a golden tip, Helen. Children's movies and animated films are perfect for language learners. The stories are beautiful, the music is catchy, and the vocabulary is very accessible. In fact, one of my favorite movies to recommend to English learners is Inside Out by Pixar. It's a movie about the different emotions inside a young girl's mind: joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. It is not only a fantastic movie for adults and kids alike, but it also teaches you all the vocabulary you need to talk about your feelings in English.
Oh, Inside Out is brilliant. I love how they personified the emotions. It makes it so easy to understand how our minds work. Another excellent movie for learners is The Terminal, which also stars Tom Hanks. In that movie, he plays a man from a fictional country who gets stuck at an airport in New York because he cannot enter the United States and he cannot go back home. At the beginning of the movie, his character doesn't speak any English at all. Throughout the film, you see him slowly learn English words by reading signs, watching television, and talking to people in the airport. It is so inspiring for language learners because you see his progress, and the English he uses is very basic and easy to understand at first.
Wow, I forgot about The Terminal. That is an absolute perfect recommendation for our audience. It is literally a movie about learning to communicate from scratch. I love that. You see, listeners, you don't have to start with complex movies like Inception or historical dramas with old English words. Start small, start simple, and use subtitles.
Exactly. Consistency is key. Even if you only watch 15 or 20 minutes of a movie every day, it's better than watching nothing. You're training your ears to get used to the rhythm and the sounds of the English language.
Yes, absolutely. By the way, Helen, do you ever repeat lines from movies when you watch them? You know, like shadowing practice?
Oh, all the time. Especially if it's a movie I know very well. If a character says a really cool phrase or an emotional line, I like to pause the movie and repeat it out loud, trying to copy their exact intonation and emotion. It's a technique called shadowing, and it's one of the best ways to improve your pronunciation and accent. It makes you sound much more natural because you're mimicking real native actors.
Yes, shadowing is incredibly powerful. I do that when I'm learning new languages too. It feels like you're acting, which makes it fun and less like studying. Speaking of famous movie lines, there are some phrases from movies that have become a permanent part of the English language. Even people who haven't seen the movies use these expressions in daily life. Let's share a few with our listeners so they can use them too.
Oh yes, let's do it. I'll start with an easy one. Have you ever heard someone say, "May the Force be with you"?
Of course, that's from Star Wars. It's probably one of the most famous movie lines in history.
Yes. In the movie, the characters say, "May the Force be with you," to wish someone good luck and safety before they go into a dangerous situation or a big battle. In real life, English speakers sometimes say this to their friends as a joke or a fun way to say, "Good luck, you can do it." For example, if your friend has a very difficult English exam tomorrow, you could smile and say, "May the Force be with you." It's a fun cultural way to show support.
That is a great one. Let me share another famous one. This one is from a classic movie called The Wizard of Oz. The line is, "There's no place like home."
Oh, I love that line. It's so comforting.
It really is. In the movie, the main character, Dorothy, goes on a long, crazy adventure in a magical land, but at the end, she realizes that what she wants most is to return to her family. When she says, "There's no place like home," it means that no matter how exciting or beautiful other places are, your home is the most comfortable, safe, and special place in the world. People use this phrase all the time in real life. For example, if you go on a long vacation or a business trip and you finally come back home, sit on your couch and take a deep breath, you can say, "Ah, there's no place like home."
That is so true. I say that every time I come back from a long trip. There's a wonderful feeling of relief when you're back in your own bed. It's a classic idiom now. Let's do one more. This one is from an action movie, The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. He says, "I'll be back."
I'll be back. You have to say it with the robotic accent.
Yes. Your impression is pretty good, Tony. In the movie, he says it right before he leaves, but it sounds like a threat. In daily life, people use it all the time in a casual, funny way. If you're sitting with your friends and you need to go to the bathroom or you need to go grab something from your car, you can say, "I'll be back." It just means, "I will return in a few minutes." But saying it like the Terminator makes it funny.
It really does. It is small things like this that make your English sound natural and connected to native culture. When you know these little movie references, you can understand humor and connect with people much faster.
Exactly. It shows that you don't just know the grammar, but you also understand the culture. And that is what language learning is all about: connection.
Well said, Helen. Now, let's talk a little bit about movie snacks. We cannot talk about movies without talking about food. That is a rule. For me, like I said earlier, popcorn is mandatory. But I am very specific about my popcorn. I don't like sweet popcorn. I need it to be salty with lots of melted butter. What about you, Helen? What is your ultimate movie snack combo?
Oh, see, we are opposite here, Tony. I'm a big fan of sweet treats. I love a mix of sweet and salty. My perfect movie snack is sweet caramel popcorn mixed with some salty peanuts or M&M chocolates. It's the perfect combination of flavors. And to drink, I usually like a cold soda or a sparkling water with lime. But buying snacks at the movie theater can be so expensive. Sometimes the snacks cost more than the movie ticket itself.
Oh, tell me about it. It is ridiculous. Sometimes I try to sneak my own snacks into the theater in my jacket pockets. Don't tell the movie workers. But I think almost everyone does that secretly.
Oh, Tony, you're a rule breaker. But honestly, yes, I think many people do that. It's a little secret of the movie-going experience.
It definitely is. Now, listeners, let's do a quick vocabulary check. We have used quite a few great words today. Let's review them briefly so you can remember them. Helen, do you want to start?
Sure. The first word we talked about is genre. Remember, it's pronounced genre. It means the category or type of movie, like action, comedy, drama, or horror. The second word is plot. The plot is the story of the movie from the beginning to the end.
Great. And then we mentioned homebody. A homebody is a person who prefers to stay at home instead of going out to parties, restaurants, or theaters. I think a lot of us became homebodies recently. We also mentioned versatile, which describes an actor or a person who can do many different things very well.
And don't forget shadowing. Shadowing is a learning technique where you listen to an English speaker and repeat what they say immediately after them, trying to copy their pronunciation and speed. It's a super effective way to practice.
Perfect. Those are some highly useful words for your daily life conversations. If you want to remember them, try writing them down in your English notebook or using them in a sentence today.
Tony, as we talk about this, I'm realizing how lucky we are today. In the past, if you wanted to watch an English movie, it was very difficult. You had to buy an expensive DVD or go to a special video rental store. But now, with the internet and platforms like Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime, and even YouTube, we have thousands of movies right at our fingertips. It's never been easier to practice English with films.
That is a very true observation, Helen. The technology we have today is amazing for language learners. You can access high-quality English audio from anywhere in the world at any time. There are no excuses anymore. But sometimes having too many choices can be a problem too. Have you ever spent an hour just scrolling through Netflix trying to find a movie to watch, and then by the time you choose one, you're too tired to watch it?
Oh my goodness, Tony. Yes! That happens to me almost every single weekend. It's called choice paralysis. You have so many options that your brain cannot decide, and you end up wasting so much time. It is so frustrating.
Choice paralysis. That is a perfect term for it. It happens to the best of us. That's why it's always good to have a recommendation from a friend. So to help our listeners avoid choice paralysis tonight, let's give them a specific homework assignment.
Oh, I love homework assignments. What is it?
This weekend, I want every single person listening to this podcast to pick one English movie. It could be an animated movie like Inside Out, a classic like The Forrest Gump, or any film you have already seen in your native language. Watch just 20 minutes of it with English subtitles. Listen carefully to how the characters greet each other, how they say goodbye, and how they express emotion. If you hear a line you like, try to shadow it. Just 20 minutes. That's your challenge.
Wow, that is a fantastic challenge, Tony. I think everyone can do 20 minutes. It's a small step, but it can create a great habit. And after you finish your 20 minutes, come back to this video and leave a comment telling us what movie you watched and what new word you learned. We would love to see a big list of movie recommendations from all over the world in our comment section.
Yes, that would be incredible. Imagine a comment section full of movie recommendations from students globally. It would be a treasure chest of learning material for everyone. So please, take the challenge and share your experience with our community.
Well, Tony, our conversation today has flown by so quickly. I had so much fun talking about movies with you. It really reminds me of how powerful storytelling is. Movies are just stories told with pictures and sounds, and humans have loved stories since the beginning of time. They connect us, they teach us, and they help us understand each other better.
I completely agree, Helen. It was a wonderful chat. And to our listeners, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us today. We hope this conversation was not only good for your English listening practice, but also gave you some inspiration for your next movie night. Remember, learning English doesn't have to be boring grammar exercises all the time. It can be fun, casual, and entertaining, just like watching a great movie.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, keep listening, and don't give up. You're doing an amazing job. Before we go, if you enjoyed this conversation, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend who is also learning English, and subscribe to Actify English if you haven't already. Your support helps us create more free lessons for learners everywhere.
Yes, thank you all so much. We appreciate every single one of you. Have a beautiful day, enjoy your movie challenge this weekend, and as our friend the Terminator says, I'll be back.
And may the force be with you. Goodbye, everyone. See you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.